Hello there internet, MegaMogwai here, and I got yet another video for you guys today, and today we're going to play some Jeskai Walkers, which is an archetype that I've actually not tried out myself until very recently, despite it being established as one of the top tier decks, and an archetype that really didn't exist before War of the Spark, right? But there was so much for me to jump into that I never actually got my hands on this sort of strategy, and I ended up, building slowly but surely my own variant of it, and this is the deck that I use to reach diamond ranked in Magic Arena, with not quite there in Mythic yet, but we'll try to do so in today's stream. And I tilted quite a bit with this deck yesterday as well on stream, in case anybody was watching, who's watching this video was on that stream. You realize that I played this deck and I had quite a bad streak, but that's mostly attributed to me tilting. I played a lot of hours in a row, and at a certain point I had a game in which I misplayed heavily, and that kind of got to me mentally, and I started a little bit of a snowball effect, right? But it doesn't take away from this deck's performance. This deck is actually really solid, and like I said, enabled me to climb from Platinum to Diamond when I was actually struggling with climbing because the dinosaur deck was not working out for me, because this metagame is all over the place, man. It changes literally every day. Like, it's actually really good. It's very exciting because there's never like a super established deck that just dominates everything. It's always like rotating. So just so you guys have an idea, the day that I actually recorded and did so well with the Alpha Dinos deck, it was because there was a huge presence of mono red aggro and Gruul aggro on the ladder, and therefore my Gruul dinosaur list would be able to outmuscle those sorts of aggressive strategies, right? But then the next day, it turns out there was barely any mono red aggro because everybody was playing this new Esper midrange / control build that capitalized a lot on mono red, and turns out kind of beat up our Gruul Dino strategy because they board in their Kaya's Wrath, and Basilica Bellhaunt does nasty things to us, and the Fairy Time Raveler is also pretty powerful as they can bounce our Ripjaw Raptors. So all of a sudden, the decks that I was playing with were not really as efficient because of the high prevalence of that, right? So I switched to this. This actually takes on Esper quite well. It's not necessarily a super advantageous matchup, but it's definitely a winnable one, and I managed to get to Diamond because of this deck. And now the metagame has changed yet again, and all of a sudden this rise of Nisa came out of nowhere with these Simic Nisa lists with mass manipulation, and that is a troublesome matchup for this deck. I'm not gonna lie, right? I'm actually gonna showcase gameplay in which we run into that deck. It was actually the first match of the stream, so I'm gonna showcase a match versus Simic Nisa, a match against Mono White Aggro, and a very cool match against this sort of like Jund midrange list that was a pretty dragged out war, and I think it's pretty solid gameplay for you guys to see this deck in action. So what is this deck about? Well, Khaleesi is a deck built around Saheeli, mainly, even though you see, likes of Narset and Teferi Time Raveler, Sarkhan, and Teferi. I think the main card that I wanted to build around was Saheeli. Not every Jeskai Walkers or Planeswalker deck list runs her, but I really like her in conjunction with low mana, draw spells and Mox Amber. So Saheeli, as you can see, creates a 1/1 artifact token whenever I cast a non-creature spell. And as you can see, my entire deck list is comprised of non-creature spells. May they be instants, sorceries, enchantments, planeswalkers, or artifacts. And Mox Amber is really solid with Saheeli, especially in this build, because in turn 3, with the ideal hand, I can drop Saheeli, I can play Mox Amber for free, proccing Saheeli and getting a token, and then enable 1 mana of either red or blue mana color to cast either Opt or Shock that same turn, inherently or effectively ramping, so I can potentially drop a Teferi or a Sarkhan on turn 4 next turn, and also giving me good tempo that turn as well with a very strong setup. If you manage to set up Saheeli, especially against creature-based decks when they're trying to kill you via attacking, and it's not a flying deck, that's why this deck can struggle a little bit, for example, against art like Phoenix, right? Because flyers are a little bit harder for us to deal with, but if it's a deck like, Mono White Aggro or Gruul midrange, or even Sultai, they need to attack with grounded creatures for the most part, and you can use Saheeli as a very powerful engine that enables you to develop creatures non-stop that can chump block or even effectively trade with your opponent's creature board. So this is a very powerful card in this sort of deck because he is a way for us to set up a board state without actually having to play creature spells ourselves. On top of that, we have, as you can see, 4 Ops, 4 Shocks, 2 Anticipates, and 1 Tamayo's Epiphany. I like this as a one-off a lot for matches that drag out and I need to like refill a little bit. It's a very powerful draw effect with the Force Cry. With all these card draw effects and all these removal spells in the forms of Shock and Deafening Clarion, I can wipe the board clean early on, and I can, look through my deck and search for the key components to get my Planeswalkers going. And then we have a bit of a Super Friend strategy that is aimed to be finished through the likes of Sarkhan. Sarkhan can come in and go for the +1 and turn all of my Planeswalkers into 4/4 dragons and go Game of Thrones on them bitches. And that is basically our win condition. Also, something really important to note is that Saheeli works out really well with Sarkhan because I can go for the -3 with Sarkhan and generate a 4/4 dragon token, and then I can go for Saheeli's -2 and turn one of my 1/1 artifact tokens into a 4/4 copy dragon, basically, that can attack directly and can enable us to set up the damage. People ask me why I'm not running more copies of Sarkhan, because I think 2 is enough. You don't really want to play multiple copies of Sarkhan in a game, especially because Sarkhan is rather vulnerable to a lot of things in this metagame. For example, in the Nisa, it's not a new deck, but it's like the deck that's actually like popular right now, even though I'll probably go onto Magic Arena today and it turns out something completely different has risen, right? But the deck that's popular as of now, as of when I'm recording this in Nisa, with the mass manipulation, also tends to run Entrancing Melody, and for just 2 mana they can steal your 4/4 dragon, which is a very powerful play and just nullifies Sarkhan very easily. Sarkhan is also very vulnerable to Teferi Time Raveler because Teferi can just go for the -3 and eliminate the token, which is a big slap in the face for the Sarkhan player. So I think running more copies than 2 can be a bit of a liability, actually, and even though he's a very powerful finisher, I don't think, that it warrants running more copies of him over something like Teferi, for example, where Teferi can enable us to, draw cards and refuel ourselves, or potentially immediately deal with any permanent whatsoever. That's like Teferi's -3 is just very powerful because it can answer anything. Planeswalker, enchantment, creature, artifact, it don't matter. And that really does save you a lot of games. And yeah, generally speaking, this deck is all about getting Saheeli on the board and then just going crazy, flooding the board with tokens while you set up your own Planeswalkers, use those tokens to defend yourself and also apply pressure, and then aim to fish with Sarkhan, or to fish, to go fishing and potentially to finish as well with your boy Sarkhan there. The sideboard is comprised of triple Tocatli Honor Guard, triple Lava Coil, triple Dovin's Veto, triple Legion Warboss. We're all about them trios. 1 extra Excellence Binding, 1 Cleansing Nova, and 1 Lyra Dawnbringer. This sideboard is aimed to, enhance our matchup versus opposing Planeswalker decks or control decks through the likes of Legion Warboss. Very good deck in any sort of like red dual color or control deck. Any control deck that runs red really benefits from Legion Warboss in the sideboard, because a lot of times the opponents tend to take out their creature removal since they see you're not playing creatures yourselves, and then you play Legion Warboss and it can just single-handedly win you the game in that particular matchup. On top of that, we have an extra copy of Excellence Binding, very solid in many different matchups actually, and the secondary effect of disabling the opponent from being able to cast the spell that you've trapped really does come into play a lot, and not only against control decks, but also against mid-range decks as well. Then Lyra Dawnbringer for aggro matchups, but also potentially for other matchups like Arc-like Phoenix and such, like in which a 5/5 with first strike and flying and lifelink can really win you the game potentially. Triple Dovin's Veto, mainly for the greedy deck lists that try to aim to win with the likes of mass manipulation or just big boy plays. You want to be able to counter those, especially because, for example, Nisa Simic does not run Teferi Time Raveler, so they don't really have a proper answer to Dovin's Veto or a way to shut it down, and this can really be a lifesaver. And Tocatli Honor Guard is mainly for Wallgrowth Walker focused decks, mainly for the 4-color Dreadhorde deck. She can completely nullify that deck from gaining health, and thus really hindering the potential of Commanded Dreadhorde. Very, very vital card in the sideboard, and I think in this metagame, a must. If you're playing white, you have to add Tocatli Honor Guard to your sideboard. That is, of course, my opinion, but I really do think it's potentially a fact, honestly. And that is... there we go, a 10-minute deck tech. A little bit of a rambling session. Today's video is quite long because I feature a lot of gameplay, but hopefully you guys enjoy, and that's all I gotta say. I'm stuttering a lot. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like for Saheeli. I know you won't for Teferi Time Raveler, that's for sure. And I'll be back at it tomorrow with a brand new deck. I'm already thinking about an anti-meta deck to build today in stream. And hopefully it works out well, and I'll showcase it off tomorrow. So yeah, have a soul day. I love you. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for daily MTG videos. I'll see you tomorrow. I got this guy like commenting on my Mardu Feather video, saying that I sounded, you know, quite pretentious and stuff. And to be fair, he was kind of right. Like when I get salty, I say some nasty shit, man. Oh, my opponent's deck is garbage. I shouldn't be expected to face the most optimal version of the deck. I sound like a straight up douchebag sometimes. Hopefully we don't go there today. But knowing myself, oh boy. This hand is risky. By the way, speaking of mulligans, who is excited for the London mulligan here? I cannot wait. You gotta send Tamayo's Epiphany to the bottom. I mean, we have an opt enabled, which is why I'm keeping this hand, because I could potentially curve into Narset here and then ramp with that. It seems like I'll be able to. We can't answer this turn 1 elf though, so we're gonna have to just hope our opponent doesn't curve out into like, okay, it's not, okay, that's pretty bad. Let's go for the opt. See if we can find a Deafening Clarion, even though we can't like even cast it, but there's Saheeli. This is why I love Mox Hammer in this deck. And that's why keeping the opt would have been a very nice thing. I'm gonna take the hit. Because we're facing Simic, so they can't like damage me directly. Oh boy, I would love to see a Deafening Clarion. Let's tap this. Let's tap this. For blue.
Focused and I have just the trick for this.
And let's keep this as blockers. Not being able to answer the Incubation Druid is obviously an issue. We're gonna keep the opt enabled here. Yeah, he wants to get rid of Narset here, so he wants to be able to activate that. So we're gonna go for the opt. There we go.
Open mind.
Ooh. We're gonna make up. I could have tapped this for 3 more damage, right?
Let us have a storied battle.
Yeah, did I miss out on that? Because I have 3. Yeah, I definitely could have attacked the mobilized district as well. No blink of an eye. Got him. Yeah, I missed out on 3 damage because mobilized district. I miscalculated there for a second. Freshly shaved? was about time, right? Hey, Flamper, happy Tuesday to you too. We definitely do want a prison realm here, and I mean we technically do want another Clarion, right? And the Dovin's Veto. I'm not sure about. I mean, Legion War Boss also seems pretty good. Okay, let me focus here for a second because we need to tone down a little bit. Let's take out 1 Teferi. Maybe definitely Clarion. If we're playing Legion War Boss, maybe definitely. I mean, do we need Legion War Boss is the question. Not sure. I don't think we do. I think I'm gonna go with this. Because I really do want the it's hard to sideboard for this because I really do want the counter spells. We'll keep this. We have a good mana base. We'll play the Hallowed Fountain. I'm glad you're back to streaming. Yeah, I'm glad too, man. Oh my god. Oh my god, I really wish I had a 2 blue, 2 red. I really wish.
Through this land, we are all connected.
I want a Deafening Clarion so bad.
Harness the elements. My strength fades. I will protect the virtue of this world. Be wary of the ground you walk on. Those who cannot succeed meditate and prepare. The land fights for us.
Okay.
Fury will only lead you astray. Behold, nature's true power.
I mean, we're kind of fucked no matter what we do here.
Prepared for this.
Okay, that's GG. Okay, because he goes for the ultimate and gets all his force out. That's kind of ridiculous how that happened. I guess I think we need the 4 Deafening Clarions for sure. I mean, now our counter spells are more efficient, right? But I also feel like I want the prison realm as well. I need the board clears. I think I want Saheeli. And what anticipate, I guess. I'm gonna hold my shock for the incubation druid. Well, we're in trouble if we can't curve out here. I mean, we have 4 Deafening Clarions. I didn't want to keep that land because, I mean, I wouldn't expect to draw into another 5. Like, I don't have that many 5-drops in my deck.
Here comes the DJ. Here comes the
I need me.
I know 80 years worth of thoughtfulness before action.
Oh, there's our Clarion. Hopefully he doesn't have a Nisa here. God damn it, dude. Are you serious?
Power surges through these lands. Rise, my elemental friend.
That's annoying.
I have reached my limit.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay, we got Yugi over here.
The land shall conquer.
God damn, dude. Oh, we got really unlucky. I'm sorry, I was like really focused. I didn't even realize. Thank you so much, my man. All right, this hand is pretty good. Well, it seems like we're getting a little bit of karma now. All right, mono white. Bit of a bad hand against mono white. I mean, at least we could potentially counter the history of Benalia. Alright, you get the 1 lander. That one's Saheeli.
You've never seen anything like this.
We place a healer here to establish board presence.
I'm known for my excellent timing.
And then we use the fairy here to return this guy. And this servo can enable us to block with a bodyguard. Unless he marshals us, of course.
That didn't go according to plan.
Alright, there's our land. There we go. Alright, 6 permanents, which means you still got to play 4 more to get this going. It's 5-8. Got it.
responsibility. I'll protect you. Here we go.
There are so many who own your prowess.
Oh look, Spell Pierce did something.
Let's try this.
I have just the trick for this.
I am not close. I'm not ready for this fight.
Got him! Mama, we got him. Alright, Deafening Clarion, Double Lava Coil, Lyra Dawnbringer. Prison Realm also makes sense, right? Yeah. So how does this deck work exactly? Well, it's built around Saheeli. Basically, it's a Planeswalker deck. It's kind of like a control deck. Mostly is it. That just aims to win with that and Planeswalker interaction. Saheeli is the major enabler though. Like I love this card. Okay, so what do we need? We don't need the Spell Pierce. I mean, it ended up being good at one point there, but nah. Let's take out Teferi. Sarkhan is actually really good in this matchup, but Teferi we only need one because Lyra Dawnbringer plus Sarkhan can put in the work. Tamayo's Epiphany is also a bit of a liability here. And we keep everything else as it is. Let's go. Hey, Alex. How's it going? One Tocatli to prevent loss hit on. I mean, yeah, I could have gone with Tocatli as a one-off, maybe. I'll keep. It's a bit land heavy, but it's got Anticipate and Teferi. Yeah, Teferi could also just go as well. Okay, we got Saheeli. That's good. Saheeli plus Mox Amber. That's great. Let's lead off with the Steam Vents. And then next turn we can drop the Beacon. Oh, Jesus. Oh, we're taking a hit here.
should be fun.
We'll go double Mox Amber just for a bit of tempo. I should probably take out a couple of Teferi Time Ravelers for Tocatli's. Ah, shit.
Thank me later. Trust me, I have a plan. You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
Okay, there's the shock.
Sorry I'm late. I've done the hero thing before.
Probably should have dealt with this eventually.
Creature. Let's see how you work.
Mobilize district, boys. Yep, let's keep.
your prowess.
It's being smart there.
My mind needs a rest. If it's a challenge you want, then a challenge you'll get.
The only way I win is if I find a Deafening Clarion. Or the only way I can come back. So I have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So I have to use Narset. Narset is my best chance at finding it. Here we go, boys.
Mind and body should
It's
be
Clarion or bust.
wind and wave. Meditate and prepare.
Not quite there. Can I survive a turn? Don't think I can, right? If I get a shock, I can. So maybe I should have gone for the opt first, right? I should have gone for the opt first. Because if I find the shock, I could have prevented one of those from, yeah. Alright, so it's pretty simple, really. We block all the 2/2s and we die. We die by a mile. We die 3 times. Alright, he got us. Them Legion War bosses were pretty tough. But that's what we got the sideboard for. Let's take out the Spell Pierces. Let's take out the Teferi Time Ravelers. Take out 1 Narset for 1 Teferi, just for a little bit of diversity. You know, because we're very progressive. and also because I don't, like, sometimes I may want to have, like, different Planeswalkers on the board, right? So Saheeli is most important here. Alright. Yeah, I should have gone for the opt first, though. Because if I found the shock, I could hit the goblin, and I could prevent that goblin from spawning something. I will keep this. Just because we have a shitload of draw. How do you win with this deck? Well, you win with Saheeli. I mean, there's several ways to win with this deck. We got Planeswalkers. Planeswalkers be good. We're most likely gonna opt here. I really want to shock that though, but I do want to opt. I gotta opt. Did I have to opt there? I don't know.
My creations are pings
I'm gonna go with Saheeli now. If I can get her to live. I can jump block these for days. But getting Saheeli on the board is very important at this point. Hopefully he doesn't have a shock. Okay, he's ignoring Saheeli, which is fantastic. I don't have to worry about her going down. We're gonna search for a land. Or a Nova. Ain't nobody got time for that. Alright, second time's a charm. Sucks seeing Lara go, but we gotta do what we gotta do. From this point onwards, we'll be able to Tamiyo's Epiphany. And then we'll be able to, you know, start curving out and just getting a bit of control in this game. We have to watch out for... Don't we just kind of lose if he plays Immortal Sun? Like, we actually... Well, we have Cleansing Nova. Okay, we got to be careful with Cleansing Nova. Cleansing Nova can be our answer to Immortal Sun. Otherwise, we just kind of lose to that card. So we got to watch out.
I need to iterate. I know 88. I have just the trick for this.
I'm known for my excellent timing. There's nothing.
This delays him. Buys me some time. He's gonna be preoccupied attacking my Narset for a while. Like, he wants to deal with my Planeswalkers, right? Oh, okay. Oh, there it is. Yikes. I think I need Ixalan's Binding just because of this.
With thoughtfulness before action.
Let's try this.
I hope he doesn't have another one. That would really suck. Okay.
I really should have seen that coming. I am not going to see this. I'm not ready for this quite yet.
All right.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
You've never seen anything like this.
Maybe keeping this Mox Amber wasn't the best play, but at the same time, I need as much tempo as possible to stay alive, right? All right. Good stuff.
No sword can pierce mine. Your end has arrived.
Can't afraid of it. Here comes,
I know how to stop you.
here comes the DJ.
All right, it's time for us to get the offense, baby. Come back, boys. Let's get him. Oh. There we go. There we go. All right. Okay, so now we have to worry about a lot of things. Like, we have to worry, first of all, like, we have to deal with the Immortal Sun, and we only have Cleansing Nova for that, which kind of makes me want to have like a Dovin's Veto as a one-off. We just gotta hope for the best. I don't know, man. Veto. Dovin's veto can be a dead card. No, I'm just gonna keep it at 1, man. If the sun lands, you're dead. Yeah, I know, but I'm not gonna play 2 Dovin's vetoes, man. Like he's barely playing any spells. Especially when I'm on the draw. Like the most important thing is to stay alive, because I gotta deal with his hasty boys. Prison doesn't deal with it. That makes me think I need to add Ixalan's Binding instead of Prison. I need to change Prison for Ixalan's Binding. Okay, we keep this. I'm gonna zap that elf. Alright, he's hasting on me. Okay, this is huge. Play an elf. Drop a land to an elf. Okay, that's asking for too much.
Wonders. Prowess is unmatched by my peers. Keep an open mind.
I should have taken the prison. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have taken the prison. I derped there. I derped there big time. That's one of my answers to Phoenix.
A mighty warrior. I concede.
I should have played the opt first. Okay, there's our answer. Okay, there's our answer for the Immortal Sun. I really should have taken that prison. I misplayed there. I misplayed hard. In case I picked up a land, I went for that. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands potentially. We can do 2 things here, but it always has to be Teferi, right?
Show remorse. Let's take it.
Attaboy! Attaboy! There we go. Oh, nice.